get too much comments.
I'm gonna give you PJs and then I'll call and see if I will answer.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Moving on to our adoption of the agenda, we have one correction. Is that correct?
Mm-hmm.
And that was the start date for Paige. Is that our new employee that we had? And it should be corrected to May 28th was her start date. So we can have the record show that's corrected. Any other additions or corrections to the minutes? Okay. Take care of that when they correct them in the agenda there. Moving on to the budget adjustment. We've got a need to make a budget adjustment for the assessor line item. We purchased the Apex software this year, which put us over budget for assessing. We need to increase the contractual service by $500, which changes the budget for assessor to $56,135.12. So a motion would be in order to approve that adjustment.
I move to approve increasing the contractual services by $500 from $44,715.12 to $45,215.12, and increase the assessor $500 from $55,635.12 to $56,135.12, with the increases coming from contingencies. Support.
Motion support to approve increasing the contractual services by $500 from $44,715.12 to $45,215.12, and increase assessor $500 from $55,635.12 to $56,135.12, with the increases coming from contingencies. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion's carried. Moving on to the consent agenda, and that's where we have the correction to the minutes. Anything else in there that we need to talk about? If not,
I move to approve the consent agenda, which consists of the special meeting minutes and the amended regular meeting minutes of May 13th, 2024, and the township payroll and monthly bills in the amount of $117,764.84, and acknowledge the treasurer's report.
a motion support to approve the consent agenda, which consists of the special meeting minutes and the amended regular meeting minutes of May 13th, 2024, township payroll and monthly bills in the amount of $117,764.84, and acknowledge the treasurer's report. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion's carried. Moving on to the report section. Chief?
Okay. Any luck at all technology work, we should have a copy of my Spiffy report there. As you can see, MFR runs just continue to stay up on the high side. Bob told me the other night how many runs they've had already, and I forgot what that number was. It's way above what we normally are. Fire runs at 13, just a mix of everything in the world. We're going to be doing some joint training coming up in June with Addison, Dryden, Almont Township, Bruce, and Oxford. Those kind of trainings really help with our ISO rating anytime we interface with other departments. So we're always looking for those. We have some coming in July with Bruce too. Bruce and Berlin. If you have any questions,
Is that training here in Almont, or?
no, it's actually in Addison.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
Because I see it says about water supply, and I didn't want us to have that same one other issue we had a few years ago.
We are going to do a training that involves some hydrants, but it will probably be around 2,000 gallons.
Okay.
I guess it'll be
Just make sure you inform them ahead of time.
Yeah. We're friends now.
For the time being, right?
Yeah.
Any questions for the chief? Thank you, sir. Move on to the police report.
Oh, where are they at with interviews? Did you know it all?
No, I know that they've got applications. Last I heard there was, I think there was 10 of them.
10.
Yeah. So 2 internal and the rest were outside is what I'd heard anyway. Nothing official yet.
While we're on the police report, I'd like to make a comment that I've heard a lot of people make reference that all this money that got handed over in this lawsuit came from the township. There was absolutely nothing that came from the township, correct?
No, we had our deductible because we were in the lawsuit at the beginning.
It was
$5,000.
$5,000
Yeah.
is all we had to do because we're contracted with them.
Right.
Okay.
And we were in it at the beginning and then we were dismissed out of it. Yeah, it was quite a while ago.
Right, I remember when that happened, but
But that was the only bill that
I've
we
heard
had
a
to
lot
pay
of
towards it.
talk about we put a lot of money
Nope.
into that, which was
Nope.
$5,000, just set the record straight.
Will we have any input as a township into the hire?
No, it's
Okay,
not. We just contract with them. We don't
right,
get involved in hire and fire
okay.
and directing or anything else. So,
They have a committee set up from what I read in the paper too, so.
any other comments or questions? Not also in the, I don't have an assessor report, but in there is the letter from Tom outlining what he would like to do. Pretty much what we had talked about in May. He'd like to be done, he'll through the contract to July 31st, and then he's going to work month to month after that. So, any comments or questions on any of the reports? Now, let's open up for our first public comment. Anyone in the audience wish to be recognized at this time? No? Okay, old business. Let's start with dugouts. Any updates that anybody's got on dugouts?
Yes.
Okay.
That quote that I forwarded on to you, I think was ridiculous. Since then, I have got a hold of somebody and I handed them the whole packet, the drawings that were there, the sizes and everything else of it. It was one of Don's old firemen out there. I think he would probably vouch that he would probably be a good guy to get. Danny Howe. He works for Lumco up in Lum. He looked at it briefly. I gave it to him Saturday. He was going to put together something. He said that the roofs would be built up there. They would bring them down here and just set them on posts. All we would have to do would be put cement in, and they would be powder coated. There's a powder coat place up on Peck Road that does that. So I think he's not built them, but he has the drawing. So I'm hoping within this week to get something back from him.
And I got an updated quote from Superior as far as making it 8 by 24 dugout. For 6 of them, it's a total of 64.2.
Wood, metal?
No, this is the wood ones
Okay.
where they updated it. And they went to 24 feet because that's the, normal size of length of a piece of.
Yeah, I told Danny it was either, what are the 2 quotes? I gave him mine, but I think it was 32 was the long one and then 26 maybe the other one.
It was 30 and 20.
Both of them were 10 by whatever.
30 and 25 are the 2 metal ones.
Okay. That's the one from,
Dugouts USA.
oh, no, the other one that I had.
Oh,
Because they said something about the length of steel there that, or maybe the span that they had to do, they had to use different steel. But anyways,
well, that length there's nothing etched in stone about that. If they've got steel that comes in this length and it's close to something, we certainly can
right.
use that too.
What was the price on the wood one?
Total would be 64.2,
For,
6 of them.
really,
Would,
wood fence.
And they're 8 by 24.
So what's the chosen, material? We going wood or we going chain link with metal?
Pricing both of them still,
Yeah.
so.
yeah, and this, I did get one from over in Armada, too, a picture of that. They're just galvanized posts in the ground with a metal wheel. I don't know who built them.
Okay, we'll see. Hopefully in July, we might have something there, Randy. Any other questions or comments on dugouts? Fencing, this is for the cemeteries. I contacted the company that did the cemetery, and I never can remember the name of it. It's over there, off from, where Ebbling Road goes around. It's an Armada road of some sort. There's a cemetery over there. The one I had the picture of that I showed the board. He's putting a quote together on that. So haven't got that back yet.
That's for a black,
Yeah.
wrought iron style.
It's not, it'll be aluminum, but it'd be look
probably,
like raw, yeah. It's very similar to the 2 drawings that I showed you. I like, when I was talking to our sexton, he would like to have a little more space at the bottom of the fence so that he can trim under there easily. And that's like the one over in Metamora.
Yeah, they look good.
Yeah.
Are we
So he's
talking-
putting it together, and a price together, and hopefully I'll have it this week.
Okay, are we talking about doing Webster as well?
Webster and Scotch.
So,
Sullivan.
I just a question, is the board in favor of doing a fence out there? I'm in favor of doing something, okay,
Yeah,
but,
make a fence.
I mean, I just don't want to get to the point where we get a price and somebody says, oh, well, why are we doing a fence and not trees? I mean, I like the fence.
I think
Me.
the fence is the right thing.
I like the fence.
That's,
Yes.
I think the fences
Yeah,
will
just
look
so,
nice.
just so we had a little bit of an
Yeah.
idea. I don't want to get down the road and then,
Yeah.
you know, have somebody say, well, why didn't we put trees up there or something?
well, not to say that you couldn't put a couple.
Absolutely, once the fence is up, but that would set the,
And I would suggest, we don't want to do anything until we get the ditches completed out there.
yes.
And the thought was to use the ARPA funds, correct? So it wouldn't cost the town,
We've just.
the township anything.
Well, it's good. Yeah, we've got to get, I hate to
Okay.
say it this way, but we need to have all that money either spent or signed up by the December 31st of this
Okay.
year, or else we lose it.
And then when do we have to actually put the fence in and,
I would
Do
hope to put it in
that.
this fall yet.
okay,
And if they didn't have the ditch dug, we could get them to mark it.
Because there won't be much of a ditch there in front of the cemetery. And
Correct.
In Webster, they could do anytime, because that one's, there is nothing going on out there.
It's Scott Settlement. I went by there yesterday. I'd like to see that dead tree knocked down. But I was talking to Paul about that, and he said that doesn't belong to the cemetery. So I would like to suggest that we contact somebody, because it really looks terrible, because it's just a big old dead tree
North or south?
West.
west.
To the back?
Yes,
Oh, okay.
like right in the middle of the whole.
It's not our tree, so.
It's not ours, yeah.
who?
I don't want it. We have to
Okay.
look it all up and
Okay,
see, get some ideas.
okay.
Anything else on fencing? Okay, let's go to our new business. And we'll start with our special assessment public hearing. In your packet is the budget for the police operational budget, which is our special assessment budget. And that we are in the 3rd year of a 3-year contract with the village on that. So this is the last amount that we know right now. At 2 mills, which is what we've been levying, brings in $499,700 estimated based on the assessments. And our contract would be for $451,421. With that overage or the excess of revenue over expenditures, it gives us our fund balance that we can now go operate from July through December till our tax money comes in. So we don't have to go through and borrow money or anything like that. So that would take care of that. Any questions from any board member at this time? And if not, I'd open it up to the public, and it is a public hearing. If you have any questions or comments on the police operational budget for 2024-25. Okay, so if not, I'm going to close the special assessment hearing at 7:16. And we would need a motion to approve setting the millage rate at 2 mills for 2024.
I move to set the special assessment millage for police protection at 2 mills for 2024.
Support.
We have a motion of support to set the special assessment millage for police protection at 2 mills for 2024.
Leaving it the same.
Yes.
Yeah, that's
Okay,
what that's exactly what I was going to ask.
Just so everybody knows, that we're not raising it, we're not lowering it, we're leaving it the same.
Yes.
Okay, got
2 mills. Any other discussion? If not, roll call, please.
Hudson? Yes. Streeter?
Yes.
Eschenberg?
it. Yes.
Grosbeck?
Yes.
Kennedy? Yes. Bowman?
Yes. Motion's carried. Now, moving on, we'll open the public hearing at 7:17 for our general fund budget. And we have, after our meeting in May, our workshop, we made some changes to that. But with this, you can see our total revenue would be $1,025,215.27. And that is at we know what the millage rate is. It's 1.273 mils is what our millage rate is. That brings in $462,629. We've got revenue sharing of $454,176. Charges for any services that we do, $17,700. Interest is up. The interest rates is $5,000. And then I've got other, which is some money out of contingencies of $85,710.27. Our expenses for the governing body is $127,525. Supervisor's office, $39,261. Elections, $58,236, and that could change more. That's with 2 elections, one in August and one in November, along with our 9 days of early voting. So all those things added up are rather expensive. So we'll see what that does. Clerk's office at 55,630. No, I'm on the wrong line there. Have to make sure. Yeah, 62,094.65. Deputy clerk 25,195. Board of Review, $2,753. Treasurer's Office, $53,375. Deputy Treasurer's Office, $10,760.50. Building and Grounds, $60,900. Cemeteries, $17,500. And that could change. That does not have the fencing in that because that would come from our ARPA funds into the general fund. So it's like a grant. Planning Commission is $16,480. That's down some because the master plan should be done here within the next month. Zoning Board of Appeals, $1,730. Medical first responders, $29,527. And ordinance enforcement is $2,500. Planning and zoning administration, $11,193. Drains we've got 14,000. That's subject to change, but as of right now, that's all we know of is $13,900 and some dollars or something like that. So I use 14,000. Street lighting, good news. Our LEDs are saving us money. So we'll probably be over budget here again, $15,000. Road maintenance, this is what we made our change to in May. We bumped that up to $400,000. Parks and Recreation, which is our ball diamonds and our portion of the park is $21,550. In total expenditures is $1,025,215.27. With the audit stayed the same, so that's not a big deal. I bumped the legal fees up a little bit in those numbers there just because we've got a tribunal appeal and we've got the Hermes case going on right now that we're working on. We got 2 election assessor contract. We haven't done anything with that. What I did was use the same number as we had last year, but that will change with the change in assessors once we sign a contract with somebody new. Other than that, that's pretty much the same. We had no increases in salaries in this one, but we're going to talk about that later on tonight. So with that, if there's any questions from the board, I would try to answer those now. We'll open it up to the public again. It's a public hearing, so if you got questions or comments as far as the general fund budget, we will attempt to answer them. Nothing? So we will close the public hearing at 7:21. And a motion to be in order.
I move to approve the Township General Appropriations Act of Almont Township for fiscal year 2024 to 2025 for the general fund.
Support.
We have motion support to approve the Township General Appropriations Act of Almont Township for fiscal year 2024-25 for the general fund. Roll call, please.
Streeter,
Yes.
Grosbeck,
Yes.
Ashenberg,
Yes.
Hudson,
Yes.
Kennedy, yes, Bowman.
Yes, motion's carried.
If I could just chime in briefly. Our budget is balanced, but I think we need to acknowledge that we are always very conservative financially, and we always manage to put a large deposit into fund balance,
But this one right here, though, we borrowed, put contingency in there because of the
Correct.
extra 100,000 we used.
which is why we are
Yeah.
conservative
Yeah.
financially. So
All right, now our fire fund. We will open the public hearing at 7:23. This one's, we're going to spend a lot of money here. So our fire fund for our revenues and the tax rate that we're having for that will be 0.9731. That will bring in $499,700. And interest is 500. That's probably be more than that because we've got a pretty healthy balance in there, but we're going to get rid of most of it. So the total revenue is $500,200. And I'm sorry, I'm on the wrong one. Sorry that it brings in $333,718, interest of $1,500. And then the other is out of contingencies, which is $630,734 because we're going to spend 700 and, what is it, Don? 720? Yeah, $720,000 on a new pumper truck, which should be here sometime next spring, right? So we've got pretty much the same expenses as we had before. Administration, $90,154, firefighting, $71,596, and our other firefighting activities, which includes the fire truck, is $804,202. So total expenditures is $965,952. Again, balanced budget because of the fund balance that we brought over. Any questions on that from the board? None? Yeah, we'll open it up to the public again. Public hearing. Any questions concerning our fire budget? Okay. We'll have a roll call vote then, please.
nobody made the motion
Somebody made a
yet.
motion.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm so used to
That's
having
okay.
a motion right away.
I'm ready.
Thank
I can
you.
do it.
Thank you.
Okay. Move to approve the Special Appropriations Act of Almont Township for fiscal year 2024 to 2025 for the Fire Operational Fund as presented.
Support.
We got a motion and support to approve the Special Appropriations Act of Almont Township for fiscal year 2024-25 for the Fire Operational Fund as presented. Any further discussion?
No.
If not, a roll call, please, now.
Streeter,
Yes.
Ashenberg,
Yes.
Kennedy, yes. Grossbeck,
Yes.
Hudson,
Yes.
Bowman.
Yes, motion is carried. Now moving on to our Park Board budget. You have a copy of the Park Board budget in your packet as well. And Roberta, do you want to have any comments? It's pretty much as you can see, we've got the 23-24 activity, which is up through end of May. And then you've got the amended budget for 23-24, and then the recommended budget out in the far right-hand column. So they've got totals for estimated revenues of $76,490, and then the total expenditures would be $78,450, which is a negative balance of $1,960, which would come out of their fund balance. I don't think there's anything major for the Park Board, what you're doing
Right now,
this
we're
year.
going to try to do something with the tennis court, but that'll be down the road. So we kind of put in maybe some contributions or grant money, approximately $50,000. We're working on that right now. And then our estimates on expenditures are all estimates, and that's why it looks like it's a little bit more than the revenues coming in.
Bert, do you want to make a motion to approve this?
Approve the park board budget for 2024-2025 as presented.
Motion support to approve the Park Board budget for 2024-25 as presented. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion's carried. Now moving on to the fire department millage. Our fire department millage expires in December 31st of 2025, which is next year, which there aren't any scheduled elections. So we would like to suggest that we do this early, but it wouldn't take effect until the 2026 year. Because otherwise we'd have to have a special election if we did it next year, and that would cost the township quite a bit of money to have a special election. So we are recommending that we go ahead and have a millage proposal on the ballot in November, and that would be 1 mill as it's been in the past. It's a renewal, and it would, at that point in time, which is an estimate, it would bring in about $490,000. I think it's the right thing to do. We've always had good support for our fire department. They do a fantastic job for us. And this would, if we get this passed, then we don't have to worry. It is a 10-year, and we wanted to get off from the odd number because we'd have the same thing again and come up when there's not an election year. So we're suggesting a 10-year at 1 mill.
And this is a renewal. This is not a new.
Well, the Headley
Millage.
part is the little bit that's been reduced for Headley over the last 5 years would be probably considered new, but it's back to the 1 mill where we started.
Okay. All right. Thanks.
Any other questions? Not a motion to be in order.
I move to approve the resolution approving ballot proposition for the fire department operation and maintenance renewal of millage.
Support.
We have a motion and support to approve the resolution approving ballot proposition for the fire department operation and maintenance renewal of millage. Any further discussion? Roll call, please.
Hudson. Yes. Kennedy, yes. Ashenberg,
Yes.
Grossbeck,
Yes.
Streeter,
Yes.
Bowman.
Yes, motion's carried. Now moving on to our second public comment. Anyone in the audience wish to be recognized at this time? No one? Don?
I guess I have to say something. Private roads, when I was chairman of the planning commission for a number of years, we spent a lot of time talking about access, proper access. I've watched in the last year and a half, maybe 2 years, 2 private roads get completely ignored and driveways get cut in on the main road. Any of those roads, which the most recent one I was a part of, that discussion took place and the constructor of the private road agreed that they could come in off the private road rather than the main road. So I called Ida and she remembered it, but it wasn't her job to figure it out. Then I bothered Swears and Eschenberg and eventually Paul. And basically, somewhere we've missed that when these people come in for land splits or for permits. We don't do the driveway permit, the county does. But access management's a big deal. If you want a driveway every 50 feet going down the main road, then let's just keep ignoring it. If not, we need to have some type of a stopgap here to get our process back in order. That's all.
So far, Don, I haven't found any written, not
It
a,
would be in the meeting minutes for sure.
yeah, and so far, we just got started looking at that. We were on another thing for one of our legal cases, so I haven't had Ida, be able to go back and look all that up, but that's on the
This
docket.
error took place in the split because there's 2 long, narrow lots that are right side by side. So only one of them is eligible to use the private road. But should have been split the other way so that both driveways would come in off the private road.
We'll see what we can find on that, because so far we've now found we haven't spent a whole lot of time yet on it, but so far there's no evidence of it yet, so. But we will,
In the meeting minutes and
Yep.
probably-
we'll keep looking on that. Any other comments? No? Correspondence, I gave everyone a copy of a proposal that I received. I've been trying to find a new assessor. This is from the Assessment Administration Services LLC, Lisa Griffin. She is the president of it. She's put a proposal together for us. As you can see, she's got quite a list of folks that they do assessing for. They do Bruce and Ray down in Bruce or in Macomb County. They don't do anything in Lapeer County right now. Lisa is our county equalization director. I've had her check to make sure there's not a conflict of interest with her company coming into Lapeer County. And so far, she has told me that, I haven't got anything in writing, but she told me that her attorney has told her that it is not. So if it's something that we want to go with, after you've read this, if you've got comments or questions, we need to keep moving on this with Tom, wanting to leave as soon after July 31st is possible. So the one question we have right now is who on her staff. They've got 27 highly certified professionals. I'd like to know, who it is and what level of certification that they have. One thing that concerns me a little bit, and when I talked to Lisa before, I said that we would like to have 2 days like we have right now with Tom being in the office. And so far she's proposing a 1 day in, but 1 day or the rest of the time basically available via phone or email. I've gone back through some of the reports that Tom has put together, and he has quite a few phone calls each month. So I'm not sure that that's going to work, but if we've got some questions, I will be more than happy to take those back to Lisa. And if we don't, I'd like to have her prepare a contract, and we'll bring it to our July board meeting. And
We have a chance to have them appear before the board at some point.
we could, if you'd like.
I'd like to. on their busier communities that they assess, are they still one day a week with those communities?
I
as
don't
well?
know the answer to that.
Or are
but
they
I can
just
certainly
basing it
find
upon
out.
our, yeah, that'd be a question I would have for them, but I'd certainly like to meet somebody from,
Well, I'd like to know who's going to be would be our assessor. That's the,
right,
I don't know. The talk was that it maybe be the one from Ray Township that's doing Ray or Bruce, because it's close. So,
I believe a lot of the municipalities, assessors only work one day a week. They get a lot of them have help that helps them with all their information, everything they have to put in.
they're still working, but they're working
Yes.
in their office instead of here in town
And
or
they have to
here.
have a policy, it's a state policy
Right.
that we have with Tom, that they are, if they're not in the office, they're available by phone, email, anything. So they're available more than one day a week.
Is their proposed fee, is that competitive?
You know,
With what
yes,
we're
it is,
paying
because we had, Tom, this year, we're just finishing up this contract, and it's a little over $49,000 right now. If we did a 3% raise, if Tom was staying, that would be close to 52,000. So we're within $3,000, it's 55,000. And if you break it down, Roberta had put together a thing a few years ago, because some of these assessors charge by parcel. We're probably one of the highest number of parcels in the county, but we aren't the highest pay. So I think it's it's more of a salary, and I've also got to talk to her because the law is that they're supposed to be an employee of ours, and that's why we paid Tom a salary and a contract. So he was actually an employee too, and I don't know how that works with having a company. We're hiring a company, so
Right.
we're not hiring the person, we're hiring a company. So that probably doesn't have to happen then.
Okay, and that is something I wondered, because
Yeah.
I knew we paid him a salary, but then also an additional wage as an employee. I wondered if that was going to be added on then to their.
No, I don't,
quote.
because we are not employing the person.
Okay,
We would employ assessment administration services, or we would
Okay.
contract with them to hire, it'd be like an outside service to
Okay.
us.
all right, thanks, Paul.
I think before we move on with this, what I would like to see is, who are we gonna get?
That's what I said.
I understand that. So I don't want to see a contract with somebody. I think Gary mentioned have somebody come before the board. I think what I'd like to do is have her prepare a list of who she's considering providing to us. If there's one person, two person, three, let us, and give us a little more information about what level are they. And then maybe we could decide before our next meeting of which one we would like to come in to talk to us. That's
And-
my thoughts.
Right, and would we only have one person assigned to us
Yes,
100% of the time? Okay,
unless they happen to leave the employee, of the company. But
Yeah, I mean, there's a whole list here, and, do we pick that one? She's gonna probably pick somebody.
yeah, like I say, they've already mentioned, the Bruce and the Ray, just because they're close here. And I don't know how busy those
I'd
two
like to
are,
see a
so-
little more information on that. And then get it to us, and then maybe we could figure out which one we'd like to have come
Okay.
before us next meeting.
would she be available, Lisa?
Probably.
Yeah, okay.
I would have her come with the
I think
person.
it's,
I would have her come with that person.
yeah, with the person.
You know-
I think it's advantageous that they administrate our equalization department. Being that they're already in the county, they've got an idea of what's going on in Almont. But yeah, we'd like to talk to them.
Any other comments or questions concerning that? I talked to her today, and I told her I'll give her a call in the morning, because I figured that, I said, when the board gets done tonight, they'll have a lot of questions, so, which is good. Okay? I'll
just
get her.
to make note to the board that Paul did try to get a hold of two other people
3 other
assessors.
people.
Or 3 others, yes, 3 others.
And no interest?
Two said no,
Yeah.
and 1 didn't answer.
Because that's a no.
That's what I took it as. If it won't call me back, then there's nothing I can do about it, so. Okay, I will get with Lisa and we'll get something going. But I think it'd be good to get our contract here too, to keep this thing moving, because if we have them come in July, then maybe in August, we can, get them started, or we can approve the contract, and then by September, October, they can be training with Tom.
So-
and
so
he can be out of here like he wants to
No
be.
matter who we would have, what level, you would say the contract would be the same? Or?
Oh, yeah, the money's the same, no matter
Okay.
who we pick.
Okay.
Yeah, I would say get a rough draft of the
Get a
contract.
contract, because there may be some parts of the contract we don't like. I'd like to have our attorney look at it, obviously, and go from there. But I'd like to do all that at one time, because
Also, too,
we need to
another,
keep this going.
another thing too, run it by, our assessor that we've had here for many years has done an excellent
Yeah.
job. I wonder if he knows any of these individuals might be able to help us a little.
I don't know that, because there's no individual names on there who they do. It's those are the people you call, and their supervisors or stuff like that in the different
I'm
townships.
sure he's familiar with the firm. I would think,
He knows Lisa.
yeah.
But I don't know that he knows the firm.
Okay.
But, I mean, he was going to look at this anyway tomorrow when he comes in, so. Just so everybody knows, Tom is going to be holding a state-approved assessment training for the Board of Review on July the 9th. It's a state-approved program. Tom has been approved to teach the class, and he'll be on July 9th at 1 o'clock, and it was going to be just for our Board of Review, and I've got probably about 4 or 5 other people coming to take this training. So kudos to Tom for stepping up and putting this on. I think it's good. So we'll see how that goes through as far as the training is concerned. So next, any other correspondence from anyone? If not, let's move on to discussion. Got some, where'd my thing go? And we wanted on the list was the board salaries. So Roberta, you're the one that asked me to put it on the agenda, so I'm going to turn it over to you.
I guess it was my fault for not bringing it up in our May meeting. But, so it won't affect this budget if we decide to make any adjustments or not. We can do a budget amendment, from what I understand, in July if the board approves. So to bring the salaries up, we took care of the clerk's salary already. The treasurer's office, I would like to see an increase of $3,500, and that brings it up to $38,500. It has nothing, you might get a little bit extra for the benefits, but we have no pension or anything, so it's not a big increase there. I also would like to see the supervisor, to bring that into play a little bit better for base salary, increasing that $2,000, and that would bring it up to $31,820, again, with no pensions. And the only benefits like we get is the 17% of our salaries for our health insurance that we pay. And the trustees, to bring them up, they look like they're pretty well within the limits of everybody else in the county, but I'd like to see at least $200 increase, and that would give them $5,800 a year. That's a year. My suggestions.
I mean, if everybody's, can be in support of this, we'll go ahead and prepare the documentation for next meeting, because we have our resolutions, salary resolutions that we have to adopt. So we can, if those are the right salaries that we want to look at, then we'll prepare those resolutions and have them here for July.
Well, I don't know. I guess Does anybody have any comments? That's what you said. I guess we have an audience here. Does anybody have any,
Well,
or would we allow them to speak? I don't have a problem letting them speak.
it's up to the board, because it's not
That's
normal
fine.
to do it on
They're
public
here. If somebody
comment,
wants to
so.
say, you know, something, whatever,
Yep.
I always find it, okay, I'll be honest up front.
Well,
I always
I know where he's going.
am uncomfortable, you know, as an elected person, you know, suggesting what I should make, that's all. I mean,
And
the old annual
I
meetings,
sat
you
on
know.
this board
go ahead.
30-some years total. And I remember that they had annual meetings that this all took
We did.
place. And there was a gentleman, Mr. Lee, that sat out there and he says, I wouldn't give any of you an extra $1.
You know, I accept that. He gave us $1 per year.
Okay.
Increase.
No, honestly, I mean, if does anybody in the public have anything to say, let them talk. I don't care.
And God rest his soul.
Anybody have any thoughts on this?
And I think it should be noted too that we are still in the very middle of the grouping
Yeah.
of the county wages. So we're not way at the top and we're not way at the bottom. This still brings us into the center.
So Roberta, when you came up with these figures, is there a percent attached to that?
I'm sorry?
A percentage attached to those figures?
No, I just took a generalization to bring it up to the dollar amount. I didn't put in the percentage.
Like the assessor here, that he's offering a contract, potential contract with a 3%, you know, increase each year. I was just curious what that would figure on those figures that you offered us.
I didn't put it in as a percentage. I only put it in as a dollar amount.
There's very few
To bring the
townships
base amount up.
that I'm aware of that utilize annual meetings of the electors any longer. I don't know if there's obvious reasons for that or not, but there are very few.
I mean,
Most of them don't do it anymore.
Right, most of them don't.
That's
and we
probably
are
what I said.
televised now, so if somebody had an issue, they could come to the next meeting.
Yep.
Okay, I just asked. Are we still in board discussion then?
Yeah, well, I mean, is this, I mean, if the proposals that Roberta's talking about, if those are what we want to go with, then we'll prepare the paperwork for July. Okay, all right. Yes, we're still to discuss, now you can.
Okay, going back to the dugouts. My fabricator said he should have a price tomorrow or Wednesday. So it'll be up here. And also too, under board discussion, I asked Joe for an update on the permit clerk. I did not get anything, but from what I hear, our permit clerk is doing well.
Well, she's learning, yes, but we've got to get her trained in BSNA yet.
Right.
She hasn't even touched that yet.
Right.
We've got her all hooked up, electronically with her voicemail and with her computer, and, so she can get into BSNA and so on and so forth. So she's there, she's working with the public, and so far so good. So is he emailing that to you, or where's it coming to?
Hand it to me.
Hand it to you?
Better.
Okay. Any other discussion items? If not,
I make a motion to adjourn.
Support.
motion and support to adjourn. Any discussion? Not all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion's carried. Thank you very much.